What is good, everyone? Welcome back to Sneaker Convos, aka we can't call it South X anything. Thanks to that lovely email I got on Tuesday morning before we started all this fun stuff. But hey, you know, I'm happy to be able to have these conversations with the people that I admire in the sneaker space. Honestly, like, you know, I think a lot of people watch sneaker YouTube, watch the content creators in the sneaker space, and think that it's all about people going and buying sneakers. But I think these gentlemen and many of the people that I've talked to over the past few days can attest that it's usually not even that, right? That's just a piece of it. We all do all these different things, and there's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes. There's a lot more work that goes into it, and there's a lot more opportunity for people to watch and learn and get involved in all of these different aspects of what the footwear industry has become. So I'm going to just rotate around and toss this to you guys. DJ, let everybody know what, you know, who you are, what you do, and give a little bit of background about what you do on YouTube specifically.
Okay. My name is DJ. I'm from Portland, Oregon. College graduate, and I ended up starting a business before I got in college, and I didn't think I ever needed to go to college. And I wanted to teach people about the things of how to build a business and all those things, and just learning about sneakers, the history about it, and my passion through it. So I started doing that through YouTube, and then it became a thing, you know, created a hobby to a hustle, which is kind of like my new online course and everything. And then from there, it kind of just spiraled, and now it's like actually a thing. So that's who I am.
Hez, what's up with you, man? How you doing?
Good, man. Good to see you again, man. What's up, DJ? What's up, Qias?
What's happening?
Yes. What's up? So HesKicks is the name. HesKicks is what a lot of people say, but Hes is part of my last name, so that's why what that comes from. But yeah, man, I've just been just doing YouTube for quite a while now. Just I don't even remember when I started. That's how long it's been. But I started like recording videos for fun. I thought it would be cool to share some of my collection with other people. At the point of starting, I had over 100 pairs in just my closet, and I was like just super passionate about sneakers. And so when I realized there was like an online community that really, I sound like archaic. An online community is like, I mean, it's funny talking about it like that. But I mean, yeah, there was a big gathering of people on the internet, and it was fun to be able to share some of my sneakers with others and interact with other people and other YouTubers and stuff as well. So it's just been a kind of a fun part-time journey. Like I do this part-time. I have a full-time job as well, and so you know, I get it probably enjoy it a little bit more because of that.
How about you, Qias?
Yeah, what's up, people? My name's Qias. I do YouTube as well. You know, I've been doing YouTube since 2007. I started doing more sneaker content in 2015, 2016. But I've been filmmaking since I was like a little kid. But and I've been a sneakerhead since I was young too. But it was around 2015 where I really started to, you know, put in sneakers into my content and really build my following through that and find what works for me and whatnot. But yeah, man, I'm just a guy that likes sneakers and likes making videos. So I guess that's the best way to put it.
I have to say that throwback picture you posted of you wearing the pumps was the most fire thing on the internet, because I feel like there's very few of us that can find those old pictures where we got those first pairs and got all excited about sneakers. So it was really dope to see you post that, because, you know, it's something that I think we're moving away from that, right? At some point, everybody that's into shoes already posted all these photos, so we're just reposting all old stuff for the years. So that was super dope, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky because my dad was always into photography and filmmaking, and that's how I got into it. So I have old videos, I have old photos of me wearing the pumps, Cherry 12s, up tempos. So if anybody wants to question my, you know, my love for sneakers, I'll bring out the archives, you know.
That's awesome, man. So one of the things like around this conversation that I wanted to kind of shine some light on is not only all the work that goes in behind the scenes, whether that's, you know, just creating the content and doing the videos, but the partnerships that you guys have to keep in mind and move towards to earn a living doing this, but also like the different, you know, kind of the different ways that you can take sneakers and apply it to other things, or move into other things, then apply it back to sneakers in terms of your content. So I guess like to kind of like shift this from like what you do on YouTube, you guys all independently have some really interesting kind of side hustles that go on, and I just saw Qias announce that you and Jacques are going to do a podcast, right? And I'm super stoked for that, because like, that's one of the things that I just always love, is seeing the people that I already, know and tune in for actually having the conversations, because you kind of, to your early days on YouTube, Qias, you kind of found that magic, I would say right at the beginning, right? Where some of the guys, DJ and Hez, like, you ebb and flow out of who you can actually get on and do the videos with. So I guess, I'll throw this back to you again, DJ, like, with your content in terms of the sneaker stuff, what's it been like, I guess, trying to find the balance between, getting paid to do what you do and, continuing to be inspired to create and go through the work that it takes to film and edit and upload?
I think the biggest thing for me was when I got out of school, I wanted to make sure that I built a path where I didn't have to rely on going to work. So I had always worked for myself with my first business, having an online boutique and everything like that. And then I wanted to be like, okay, how can I create passive money through real estate? And then that was the big goal through YouTube, was like, okay, let's teach people how we can leverage sneakers to then use those for real estate, and then get more passive money to buy more shoes and do whatever you want to do. So for me, I found like a perfect balance, because it was like the two things that I loved. And the other one, it's not like I'm clocking in or nothing, but yeah, I got to go buy lumber or sheetrock or whatever, make sure the guys is working right, or even me doing some work myself. But I think for me, I just found a solid balance. And last year I spent about 20 hours a week working on YouTube stuff. And my goal this year is to try to spend a little bit more time on it and try to really elevate the channel.
Yeah, man. How about you, Hez?
Well, I definitely feel like I got a different approach than most people, especially in this day and age of approaching YouTube. And like, I definitely started it with the idea of getting like some monetary value out of it, like some sort of paycheck, ideally enough to pay for the sneakers that I was at least buying towards, you know what I mean? And then funding the passion through the content. But it comes now, it's like so much bigger than that. You can quit your jobs and like only focus on content and only focus on the videos that are going to get views, and then really go down that path and really try to just create as much revenue as you can by creating the videos that are going to have the maximized views. But I feel like I'm in a position where I'm lucky in a sense where, since I do have a day job, I don't have to fully rely on my YouTube income. And so I have the luxury of being able to not press through and do weird content that I don't feel comfortable doing. And I'm okay doing a video that I know is going to get like no views at all. And I do it because I want to do it, not because somebody's telling me I have to. So I like the fact that I have that and more of a side business sort of approach versus like all eggs in one basket, which is the only thing I'd recommend to people out there, is like, no matter what you do, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Really try to, unless you're like a superstar like Qias or somebody that can actually, I'm not on that, like that type of path as somebody that's like bound for success like that. So I'm an average dude that's lucky to be in the position I'm in, not something that's destined to, for something. So I'm happy where I'm at just because of it. But like I said, for me, it's not about putting all eggs in one basket. It's trying to diversify everything to make it so I'm able to enjoy the things that I'm doing along the journey.
Yeah. So you actually, one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on in this conversation too, is because you also still are doing the collective kicks thing, right? So you kind of still have like that second arm of sneaker content that you're working on. So how do you approach that? I mean, I know it's, from the outside, it's like everybody's like, yo, go buy my stuff or go click this. But obviously all these things take a lot more work.
That's a whole other side of it that I do casually as well, but it's turned into something that's been beneficial monetarily. Like, so I started Collective Kicks as I basically originally started years ago thinking I would just start a blog site and then have like a sneaker blog site where I could have a bunch of people write articles and then try to get like, like the ad revenue from the website, thinking I can get some views through there. But as the internet changes, Twitter's like super fast, Instagram's there. People don't need to read an article for anything, and it just wasn't worth my time and the people's time that were creating content for me to try. And by creating content, there was only a handful of really good writers out there. For the most part, there were kids and people that were wanting to contribute, which was awesome and fun, but it wasn't a fully vetted process. And it was basically anybody could have done it. But anyway, I shifted that to be more of like a bargain site, in a sense, where a site where it's an affiliate site where I can post content on there about sneakers to purchase that I like, and sneakers that are on sale and stuff like that. And that's pretty much all I use it for now. Is it's just a pass through for sneaker deals, and it drives pretty good revenue through there as well. So it's just another way that I can earn money on the side of YouTube, and helps me again be able to create the content I'm able to create because of the extra money that I make from it.
Yeah. So Qias, you kind of have like the other side of this, right? Where, you've had, the crew for a long time, right? Like there's been a lot of different facets of that. You've done obviously merch, you've done, when we could be in person, sneaker cons, all these other various things. But now you got the cleaner, right? Like, how's that been? Like how, what made you decide on that too? Because obviously being in sneakers a long time, you could probably, that's a huge competitive space, but I think it's dope because nobody has done this from the YouTube side or from the creator side, right? It's all like, it's all other people, I guess. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but that's kind of how it seems.
Yeah. I'm always looking for ways to, find business opportunities outside of YouTube. And I was a brand ambassador for Crep Protect for 3.5 years. And it was cool, but like, what I'm saying? It's when you're working with a company and you realize that you could, do it yourself. You know what I mean? It's like, why not, we're the people who are helping them sell the product. Why not just make the product ourselves rather than have them pay us? Like, why not just take the whole pot? You know what I mean? So my contract with Crep Protect had ended and I was going month to month with them. And it was, I'm not going to get into the details, but it got to the point where they weren't really trying to offer a new contract, and I wanted to, get something in paper rather than go to month, and it didn't work out. So I contacted Tony D and Bull, and I said, guys, like, you put on for Rejuvenator, I put on for Crep. People are not buying the product because one's better than the other. They're buying the product because of who's promoting it and who they mess with. I said, why not all the creators come together and make our own? You know what I mean? We're good friends with everybody. We can get other people to, show support, have love, sign them on as brand ambassadors. And we did it. Took a couple months and almost a year actually. And when we launched, we got nothing but positive feedback. There were still those people who said like, oh, like, why should we buy your guys' stuff? There's a million other cleaners out there. And yeah, at the end of the day, it all does the same stuff, right? It's all going to clean your shoes, but it's all about who you want to rock with. And a lot of people rock with us, and everybody bought the product just because of us, not because they knew if it worked or not. But now it's been 2 months. Now people are buying it because, oh, damn, this stuff does work. So if you go on YouTube and you type in pure sneaker cleaner review, there's multiple videos of people. We didn't send it to them for free. They just bought the product, used it, and it works. So it's cool, man, because you get to be your own boss. You get to make your own decisions. You get to decide when you want to get paid. You get to decide who you want to pay, and you just get to work with. You get to just have something that you could call your own. So,
yeah, it's dope, man. And I think too, like, well, first, Tony and Bullet, like, we're gonna do this again, and I'm gonna get you guys to come talk about these things too, because I ran out of space to fit everybody in because I just wouldn't be able to do as many of these things as I want. But I think it's super dope because I think like one of the things that, you get to see it in some collaborative videos, right? But, obviously, when the pandemic hits, we can't link up in person. Like we've all done little things for each other throughout the years where it's like, hey, I'm going to do this video. What do you think? Or send me a clip. Like, like the collaborativeness that happens within the sneaker space is what keeps me around. Right. But at the same time, like, taking it to that next level, I feel like is the next, this is like the next progression of where we all go with this, right? Because to your point, people are going to rock with you regardless of what it is. Like I find myself, following you guys, following other creators from the sneaker space, but like, I'm buying random ass stuff at the grocery store because I just know that person's vibe is something I can connect with. And if we were in person, we would probably go to the same restaurant and I would try something based on their suggestion, right? And I think that's something that, as we move like kind of forward with all of this stuff, as everybody's growing, what do you guys think are there what are the biggest challenges in doing that, other than like, I think you nailed it to a point, Qias, with like there's people that are just going to say, this is dumb, you're just doing this for whatever. But like, yeah, of course, we do everything for whatever. Like if we like the shit, this is what we do, right? So,
yeah.
Like DJ, what does that look like for you? Because obviously too, you've had DNA Show was you and AJ at first, right? And like obviously things, you guys are still friends or whatever, but like it's it changes. Mm-hmm. You got to deal with those things. So what's that look like for you in terms of partnerships, both like on the creator side, but then thinking about what Kai said about working with brands too?
When it comes to, it's tough because I'll be the person that just like ready to go, always think about it, trying to do it. And then it sucks because I accidentally may weed people out. I try to get people involved in it. And it could be potentially my fault too on how I act on things. But for some reason, I just always end up where it's like, I'm going to just do it. I'm going to do it and I'm going to just get it out the way. And then when it comes to like working with brands, it's like, especially I'm sure all of us here, like we got offered money for stuff that we're just like, bro, I ain't rocking with this. I don't care how much money they giving me. Like, I just ain't doing this shit because I just, no. Like, so for me, I've had that happen already. And I know I'm not like big or nothing, but I got to be selective with that stuff. And then I have to structure everything. Like I said before, like I'm always thinking about passive. Like, what can I get from what I'm doing right now? How can I continue to make something from it later? So for me, like heavy on affiliates and stuff like that, and really understanding like when I make this video, it's almost just like everybody knows it's another advertisement, but how strong, how well can I convert to make it where it's like, this is going to help me and continue to pay me 6 months from now, a year from now, whatever it may be, where my affiliate is nice. And then the brand's going to still want to work with me. Cause my thought is always like, I don't want a one night stand with a brand. I want a long relationship. I want to be able to build something. Otherwise, what's the point? Because I can get the quick money now and I'm going to do that with all these brands. And then my viewers is going to be confused. Like, bro, you just told me this was dope and that was dope. Like, which one you going with?
Yeah, that's a good point. Hez, you take an interesting approach on the collaborative side. I think like you're in an interesting spot too, just, being a family man, having the kids, like, you got a lot of other priorities you got to balance with this whole thing. So, you've hit me up a few times and I've watched your videos for years. We've known each other for years, but I always admire like the way you come with a fully like baked idea, like, yo, this is what I'm doing all the way through and through. This is all I need from you. Did you just naturally do that? Or was that something you were like, I'm thinking like, if I would have tried that like 5-6 years ago, I would hit people up and be like, yo, there's this crazy idea. I want to try to do something like this. And most people would have been like, well, I thought you were going to hit me up to actually do that, instead of like, I'd have to look back on myself on the way I communicated it, I guess is what I'm saying. So how did you get to that point, and how much success have you found in those kind of videos?
Are you talking about the group video that I did a while ago?
Yeah. When you're just reaching out to people and say, hey, this is the idea, throw it out there, let me get your opinion with it.
Yeah, I tried some new things. Basically, I mean, at the end of the day, like sneakers are sneakers, right? So you can only create content so many different ways, but at the same time, you want to try to do something different. And so I had an idea at one point, and I wanted to reach out to other people to get their thoughts on best sneakers at certain price points and stuff. So I reached out to you guys. I actually reached out to Qias too, but I think I hit your wrong number, your old number or something. But yeah, so I like the idea of that, but when I'm limited on time, that's the number one thing for me. I don't have the luxury of waking up in the morning and like scratching my balls and like just going and maybe eating some cereal and watching some TV and like my kids yelling in my face at 6 o'clock in the morning, like get up. come downstairs now. Let's go play Mario. And I'm like, dude, it's 6 o'clock. I have to be on my computer at work like 7, 8 o'clock. So it's the beginning of the day till I put the kids to bed at 9. Like, so now imagine that being your day and then figuring out in your head I have to create content as well. I also run a YouTube channel. So how am I going to create a video? And then I really have to, when I'm reaching out for content like that, I have to formulate the plan to make sure that people are going to be able to reply back to me and get back and collaborate with me so I can actually get precisely what I need from them so I don't have to have time for retakes. And you know, most of the time when I do content, when I first started doing YouTube, I did just my iPhone and I recorded a full session, one cut. That was it. I never edited anything. That was just the only thing that I could do. I got a tripod and I just recorded and not even in front of the camera, as most of you guys remember. It was just me just talking to a blank wall or to a sneaker wall, basically. And that was, I just liked sneakers that much that I would do silly stuff like that because I was passionate about the sneakers. So I don't know where I'm going with this. At the end of the day, I've tried to evolve my content to be a creator, but my personality is not the type to be in front of the camera for the most part. My personality is the type to just chat about sneakers and stuff. So it's crazy for me to be able to do this stuff while I have everything else brewing with family and work. And you know, I'm just still happy to be able to be passionate about doing it.
You're doing great, bro. You're doing great.
Yeah, man. And I think that's the interesting thing, right? And that's why, like, you guys, you know, collectively have a very unique way of being on camera and dealing with this stuff and doing this stuff and moving forward. And, you know, and I didn't expect that you threw a curveball out there. Like, we kind of, for a moment there, we became like a birth control conversation, because it was like, wait, I don't know if I'm ready to go down that path of waking up at 6 a.m. with a kid, you know. But I think, you know, like that's the thing, like, you know, we all kind of, especially the longer we're doing this stuff and the longer we work, you know, especially, you know, me, look, I'm trying to get comfortable being on camera. You know, I've been doing this stuff behind the scenes for so long that, like, I've never really had to be the face on camera. So part of me doing these conversations was like, okay, let me just continue to put myself out there. So whenever, you know, the timing is right, I feel more comfortable. But also, like, because I've gotten to do this stuff and work behind the scenes with so many people, you know, I just want to, like, I want to continue to have the conversations and elevate the crazy ass challenges we got to deal with, right? Because, you know, you could see some of it online, you know, when you see the comments or whatever. When you look at one of these guys' pages, there's trolls, there's haters, there's everything in between. But that's like, probably at this point, that's like the one thing that you guys probably could disconnect from and be like, God, I know how to not deal with that. I've been not dealing with that since it started, right?
Right.
But, like, what are the other kind of challenges, you know, like in creating? I think, like, you know, has kind of hit on, you know, coming up with the ideas and, like, trying to do that. How, Qias, I'll ask you this, because you've done like some of the most hilarious, like, sneaker related stuff, right? The Sneakerheads Be Like things were, like, legendary, right?
Thank you, man.
But, like, that's also probably pretty challenging, because you also, like, coming from my complex days, I got death threats for putting things in lists that people didn't like. And all I was doing was writing. My face wasn't even out there. So
Jiminy Christmas.
Yeah. So how do you make those decisions? You know, how do you decide, you know, like, on one hand, you want the views, like, you want to do the stuff that gets the clicks because you know it's going to make the money and be entertaining. But then at the same time, you know you're going to get a bunch of backlash or a bunch of, you know, dumb stuff coming back at you.
Yeah. I think I'm the perfect example of someone who, you know, goes for it and just doesn't care what people say. If you do look at my comments or Instagram or wherever, I am probably one of the most hated guys in the sneaker content creating world. But I mean, I don't mind it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their opinion on me, but you know what I mean? Hes has met me. I'm not like that guy in person. I'm not freaking eating cereal out of my shoe in person. Like,
no,
you know,
it's my favorite how much hate you get because you deal with it so well, and it is kind of ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but at the same, I commend you every time because you deal with everybody so, like, and part of me is like, Qias is, Yeah, he's dealing with it pleasantly, but he's crying behind the scenes, maybe. But he really handles it like a man and just brushes it off, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get why it does get a lot of negativity and whatnot, and people don't like it and whatnot. But sometimes I just wish people would look at it more from an entertainment point of view rather than thinking that this is what I really do in real life. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, when I post content or when I come up with ideas, I'm not thinking about is this gonna get hate or not? I'm thinking about, is somebody gonna enjoy this or not? You know what I mean? Is this gonna make someone's day? Is this gonna make someone laugh? I think, as I've gotten older, I've kind of stopped doing so much. I wouldn't say it's crazy, but stop doing things that irritate people so much. But yeah, I mean, I just try to come up with new things that people can relate to. You know what I mean? With the Sneakerheads Be Like thing, it was something that had never been done in sneakers before, was like comedy skits rather than just formal unboxings and whatnot. Like I before I started sneaker content, I was watching Hes, I was watching Cousteau, I was watching Foamer, all these guys, and I wanted to be like them, but I wanted to make my own lane. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be doing the same thing, no disrespect, but I just wanted to, how could I separate myself? How could I stand out? And I was like, I feel like I can act. I've always done skits, so let me make like sneaker related content that's funny. And it blew up. Like my most viewed Sneakerheads Be Like has like 13 million views, and all the other ones are anywhere between 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, 6 million. It's insane. Like sometimes I forget to go check, and then I'll just go check, and it's like it has another 2-3 million views, because you could just keep rewatching it. The playback on that is insane. People will watch it and then they'll share it with all their friends and family. So I got pretty lucky with that. And yeah, man, it is hard to come up with new ideas now, because I feel like I've done everything. And now that there's so many platforms where it's easier to make like comedy content with TikTok and whatnot, everyone's doing it. It's harder to come up with original ideas, but I think I do a pretty good job with keeping it fresh and whatnot. So, and also, Hes, I wanted to mention this when you were talking about it, but I remember like in the early days of when I started the sneaker stuff, the first time you showed your face on camera, my friend Harris texted it to me. He's like, "Oh, this is what he looks like." It was like the face reveal we've been waiting for, because he used to always just film the shoes, and we never knew what he looked like. And then finally we saw him on camera. We're like, bro,
he's Asian. Harris, I love Harris.
It is true. That was that was a moment, because like we had all seen you kind of doing the first person perspective on everything, and I think that's kind of interesting, right? Like I mean, it's dope to see you kind of evolve into this new on camera stuff. But at the same time, I think that's also like what, aside from like, I don't know, like sneaker commenters can be like the most vicious people on the planet, right? Yeah. And I think like YouTube is still like the best platform for people to be creative in all these different ways, right? I just had a conversation with the Nacho Average Finds guys, who, they've been doing some like cool like history videos. But most of those videos, they're not even on camera, right? They're just putting them together, kind of like those Vox videos that you see pop up, where it's like, here's this like 6-minute video on like why this granite countertop is cool, right? And you're just like, I don't know why I'm watching this, but this is crazy, right? And that's kind of an interesting piece to YouTube, kind of to Qias's point about like the comedy stuff is really, I think, almost harder to do on YouTube now because of these other platforms. But then sometimes I think, like, not to sound like a hater towards all the other platforms, but I think like, look, YouTube is like the most flexible, right? So if you're good enough to create your audience, like you could do whatever, right? What are some of the challenges that, like DJ, what are some of the things that you as you kind of shift from one type of content to another, or have the two parallels going, right, with the multiple channels? What are some of the challenges that you're facing while you do that?
There's like always like these waves of like, are we going to chase the views? Are we going to chase this, that, subscriber growth? What videos are converting the best to create the most subscribers? Okay, this, that, like, and then it's like, F it, I just want to make something. So there's just like always that. And I think for me, at the end of the day, the baseline of all of it is like, I got to make something that I really want to make. And if I can get to that point, then it's like good. And then there's times where like even last week or the week before, something like that, I was like, I'm going to make a video every day. I don't care, whatever the first thing that comes to my mind, I'm going to just make the video. And then you'll just do that and do it and do it. I'm sure like you guys have done it as well and been through those phases and those runs where it's like, okay, we do this or that, like, and then like you see growth and you're like, okay, I got to do this. So I think for me, again, it's just like trying to find the balance, trying to stay true to what I want to create. So that way a year or 2 years from now, I'm like, okay, I'm glad I made that video, or I don't care about the views because I have fun. Like everybody knows, like on my channel, the videos I make with my dad, like I'm so happy to make those videos because I'm looking forward to the days when we can watch those videos 20 years from now, with me surprising my dad with some shoes where it can get 100 views. I don't care. Like those videos are the most happy ones for me. So I got to pay to buy shoes to give to him, but that's fine because I have so much fun doing it. And compared to like doing a review or whatever, when I know like, oh, this is going to get views. So for me, I just got to always make sure I sprinkle those in and make sure I got something like that involved every month so I can just stay sane in the mind.
Yeah. How do you do that, Hes? Because we talked a lot about your like dip dye stuff, right? Like, like talk about, waking up and scratching your balls. Like, I feel like that's the most intimidating thing that happens on YouTube. Like, I'm like a pretty hands-on car guy person, but when I see you do that, and I've told you this off this show too, like that's just like the most intimidating thing. I'm like, I've loved seeing it, but I'm also like deathly afraid of it for some reason.
Well, I mean, that's just one of those things. I knew a guy he does some customs for Nike, and he is actually the one that showed me it, but he has a professional setup at his place, and he can make them clean. And he said from the beginning, it's not something easy to do. That's a hydro dipping that you're talking about. And so I did some videos on that early on, but I've actually wanted to do different stuff with the person that showed me how to do it years ago. It never happened. But so I started making it myself, and then as I'm researching it, it's super hard to come clean. And we've seen a lot of videos. There's been people that have done lots and lots of videos that are blowing up on YouTube doing hydro dipping now. And it's something I dabbled with. Some of my videos have 1 million views plus on them. And it's not something I can do on a regular. First of all, it's toxic. It's super toxic smelling. Is the Rejuvenator people know, because they brought me to Arizona and we did a video. And we did it inside, and it was just the whole building had to be cleared out. It was terrible. But yeah, it's fun. It was just more for experimentation, just wanting to learn the process. And as I'm learning it, trying to show other people what I'm learning. And so it's like an evolution of every time I'm doing that, there's something new that I've hopefully been able to show people the next round. But yeah, that's kind of part of the thing, the creativity of YouTube. Like you could post a video on anything, like, and it's difficult to figure out like the cadence and the rhythm of like the type of videos you're supposed to be creating. But at the same time, like it's free for me to post a video. Like if you think of it from that perspective, I don't have to pay anything to post a video on my channel. And so it's a platform for me to be able to share something. And so if you take that instead of going the opposite approach of how much money can I make from this, it's liberating to be able to do that. So I've done videos on my barbecue. I bought a smoker grill. I did the top 5 reasons why I bought that. I got no views up from my subscribers, but now it has, I think, 500,000 views. Like, and I have people that I work with in my day job. They're like, I was looking up a pellet grill and I found your video. Like, this is the most recent thing. So like, I don't know, that's the side of YouTube that I like. I mean, I just like to be able to create something that I know that if I can share it with somebody and they can maybe benefit from it, then it's worth doing that. And that's actually where I started with video games. I started doing tutorials for Call of Duty Zombies, like, and I got some of those videos have 1 million plus views too. And it's just something that unfortunately for me, I'm like a squirrel, and then I run this direction. I don't stick with the format and then go with it, because I'd probably be able to retire if I did. But
that's one thing. Yeah, that's one thing too that I've been kind of on like lately is like I keep looking at my audience viewership and I'm like, 80 to 82% of my audience are new viewers for all my videos, right? So it's like, it's a first time for the majority of the audience watching a video. So if I create anything I want, it's pretty much going to be new to a lot of these people. So it's easy to, like you said, just be all over the place and create whatever you want to create, because you know, it's like, you look at the analytics, it's not going to lie to you. It's going to tell you like, this many people's watching this many people's watching that. And that can kind of reassure you in the mind, like, oh yeah, I could just make whatever I want.
I think it's a double-edged sword, though, and unfortunately, I'm sure Qias has more of a lane that he's carved for himself and he's stuck to it. Like the fact you haven't done like 600 like different videos on Sneakerheads, be like you have a handful of them here and there, but then like if you don't have, I mean, if you think about this, for the people that I actually watch on YouTube, like I watch video reviews on movies and stuff like that. When I watch one of those people's videos, guess what pops up in my related feed? Their other reviews. So if I'm doing a Hydro Dip video and a barbecue video and like a sneaker video, like my videos, I might get 50,000 subscribers from one of those videos. They're not going to watch one more of my videos because it doesn't anything that. So that's the downside of it. If you jump too many different directions, you're not going to build a good like rapport with Google Analytics for the most part. So you're not going to get return volume. So seeing new people come in to watch my videos all the time is good, but it's also like not good if I'm not creating more content related to what they came to watch. And I realize that's the downside to being a creator. If you hyper focus on that stuff though, like it'll eat you up. Like that's why I don't even bother. Like I haven't checked my views in five months of how many subscribers I get daily. I haven't checked my total view count in 5 months every month. I mean, I just don't. Like DJs on the other side of it, analytical, like, and really like, I get why you want to do that because you want to grow and you're trying to figure out how you can project growth. But when you, and that's a smart business minded thing to do. But if I guess I'm not on that side of it where I'm just not thinking of it as, which I should be thinking more of a business side of it. I just do it more for the fun, I guess.
But I think it's dope because somebody outside that wants to do what we're doing or whatever, it shows that you don't have to do it my way. You don't have to do it your way. You don't have to do it his way. There's so many different ways you can do it. And that lets people know like, okay, I can still do it not my way, but you know, their way that they want to do it. And I think that's dope for us to show them like there are multiple options.
Agreed.
Yeah, so hydro dipped barbecue with sneakers in it is going to be in my video, so I show up in the algorithm, right?
Hydro dip the whole barbecue.
Yeah. Well, so that's kind of interesting because I wanted to kind of get into this topic about you know how you stick to the lane that you carved, Qias. But like, you know, I think like that's like the constant struggle of like wanting to see the crazy results versus also, you know, like you have to love creating content to be doing this long, right? I think I've had this conversation, you know, with a handful of people that are creators in various aspects through the past few days. And I think that's kind of the common thing that's coming out of this is like, you have to learn to love doing this shit in order to deal with all the good and all the bad that comes with any of it. So how do you do that? Like with like the Sneakerheads Be Like is the best example that I think of because like Hes said, like the success that you've had, you know, repeatedly with that subject seems to be like, damn, like, let's just do this and cash out and go live in, you know, on a deserted island, right? But like, obviously you know, like hearing about, you know, your dad and the cameras also like, look, even if you weren't doing YouTube, you would be making videos at some point, right? Like YouTube just happened to come along at the right time where you're in a space where you can do it. But then like, how do you determine, you know, like, cause you've also switched gears a little bit and been like, okay, I was doing the comedy stuff. Then I did the comedy and the sneaker stuff. And then you're doing, you know, sneaker stuff with and working on brand partnerships. So there's a lot of moving parts to that throughout the years of doing this. And how do you, you know, make those tough decisions as to like what's next and what makes sense?
Yeah. Even after doing this for, what is it, like 13, 14 years now, I'm still learning every day something new or what I could try new. Like DJ said, like the algorithm is, you got to like learn it, and it's changing all the time, and it's so annoying because like as soon as you get comfortable and you're like, all right, this is working for me, I know how YouTube works, they switch it up and your views just go from good to like mediocre. it's a pain, but you know what I'm saying, that's part of social media. That's how you continue to stay relevant, or at least with your audience relevant. That's how you continue to grow, is you always adapt to it. You learn, you figure out what people want to see. Like the sneakerheads be like, I try to keep them special. You know what I mean? If there was a new Avengers movie every month, it wouldn't be as special. Not that my obviously sneakerheads be like compares to it like an Avengers movie, but just think about it. Like if Avengers Endgame part 1, 2, 3, 4, if there's like 50 of them and it came out once a month, nobody would care. But it's the fact that it only comes out once every 3, 4 years, or every 5 years they make that big movie, it makes it special. So I try not to outdo it, but just coming up with new stuff, it is challenging, but I like to test it out. Like late last year, I started messing around and doing reaction videos, and I'm not going to talk numbers, but I made more money off the reaction channel than I did my Crew TV channel, which is insane because that channel was not active for 2 years. So it's like I like to test out different things and see what works and what do people enjoy. And just even outside of YouTube, but just like business things and starting companies or trying TikTok, like you always got to just be one step ahead, and you can't be that guy that's like, oh, TikTok, I don't want to get on TikTok, but you never know what opportunity.
Halfway, me too.
I have one, man. I don't use it. I don't get it, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm the worst.
Look, I was actually listening in earlier, and Jock was talking about doing the renegade dance. Like that's not me either. I'm not doing the renegade dance and whatnot. But there's a audience there who loves sneakers. You know what I mean? So they want to see the attention span of someone who's watching content on social media is so low these days. So TikTok is like fast paced, right? They see a Jordan 1, they see a 30-second review, they keep it pushing. If they like it, they send it to a friend and whatnot. You have to be everywhere. So I try to, get on every platform, test out every platform, because you never know who's watching. But my main goal out of doing all these other platforms is to drive everyone to YouTube, because this is my main source. So when I do TikToks, every once in a while, I'll throw in like a clip from my YouTube, and then I'll put to watch the full video, go to the link in my bio. Because my goal, my biggest thing is YouTube. I want to get my audience there. I want people to, continue to watch there because it is the main source. But I try to stay active on everything. I try to find new ventures and new ideas and businesses and whatnot. And it's hard, but if you want to be part of this life, you got to adapt, you got to learn, you got to learn to renegade, I guess. So
tomorrow on TikTok's or tomorrow on Qias' channel. Is it not a channel? What is it even called? I don't even know. TikTok-y. Is it not a channel? It's a
it's account. I don't know.
Account. It's just like Instagram, but just
I don't get it, man. I'm too old.
How many thumbs up for HesKicks to make a TikTok?
I have one. I post like 3 videos on it. I just don't get it.
And there's opportunities there, man. I've gotten brand deals on TikTok. Like I stopped posting on there for like 2 months because I just get sidetracked with like other platforms, and then like a company will hit me up and they're like, hey, we want you to post a TikTok for X amount. I'm like, all right, let's do it. Obviously, if I like what they're promoting, but there's definitely opportunities on TikTok, and TikTok pays as well, which is pretty crappy how much they pay, but they do pay.
The little creative fun thing.
You can also repurpose.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say you can also repurpose content too. Like I had a video that did well on YouTube. I literally just took it and kept it in landscape mode, put it on the TikTok, and then it got like 500,000 views on TikTok too. Wow. So if you know it did well over here, it might work over there too. And just copy and paste.
I'm actually trying to. I've been in talks with some editors to hire some people to go back through all my footage and just make it vertical for me to be able to post it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's just recycling content. It's genius.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
So speaking of that, can you? Okay, so obviously, like I guess I'm talking to you guys because your main content focus and the funnel all leads to YouTube for you guys, right? But can you ever see like it going the other way? Like there's nothing else out there to me that would ever make sense to go you know what I mean? Like you can chop it down for other, platforms, but like really like the YouTube, I think it's just like such an anomaly in the ways that you can make money on it and also grow an audience and a fan base, like a legit fan base, right? Like that's something that I think that we should probably talk about a little bit too, because like as much as like I think all the platforms serve a cool purpose, right? You connect to different people, to Qias's point about what Jacques was saying on a previous conversation. There's all these different like pieces to every one of these platforms, right? Like, and then if you get into the brand side, it's like, you got a lot older generation of people that are looking for content on Facebook. Like, like all this stuff is different, but it's kind of funny because I don't ever see like I guess other platforms, because they're so short, allowing people to like actually build as dedicated and like as I would say as tight knit of fan bases as you can on YouTube. Would you guys agree? Or
nah, I mean it depends. I think it for sure depends. It depends on the person and their content, on how how they're gonna be. Some people are massively huge on TikTok and they don't have anything on.
That's true.
YouTube. And some people are really big on Twitter and they don't have any following on YouTube. I think it just depends on the content that's being created. But to Qias's point, I think that he's smart about it because he's putting himself out there and contributing to all of them and trying to bring, because no matter what, he's going to gain viewership from 1, 2, 3, or 4 different platforms, and collectively they're going to point back to YouTube, which is going to all in all mean that he's going to become the Goliath that he is on YouTube, just because of being able to interact with them. The one thing that I think is the most confusing to me right now is everything wants to be freaking TikTok. I don't want to see your stupid stories on. It's not even stories or whatever. There's stories on Facebook. There's Twitter. There's Instagram. Reels. I get into Instagram Reel. I'm like, get me out of here. I don't even know how to get out of it. It's so annoying. Like,
it's so annoying.
TikTok is cool with me, and I'll go there if I want to see stuff like that. But that's only my thing. I just wanted to say how annoying that is.
Well, I mean, so to your point about that, right? Like, I guess I was thinking of it kind of like thinking of Vine, right? Like, a lot of people. I guess like I was thinking more of like less about the content, and more about the people, right? Because like doing like something on a Vine or a TikTok or Instagram Reels or whatever that is, Facebook, Snapchat, all these places that are short, doesn't always have a long-term play, translated to other platforms, I guess is more what I was thinking as I was trying to explain that. Because what happens if, like Snapchat is a great one, right? What happens if Facebook comes along and says Instagram's going to have everything Snapchat has, and you invested all your time, or like you were one of the people that blew up on Vine, but maybe you just don't want to go through the editing process on YouTube to become a star on YouTube the way you might have happened on Vine. So how do you guys, how do you guys see all of that with the different platforms? And like, also like, how do you approach like thinking about like staying, I guess, relevant in those platforms when clearly like some of them hit a completely different demographic than others?
Who wants to go? I personally think that YouTube is the best platform ever. I feel like everybody will get, like you said, Vine, whatever, and then they always end up falling back to YouTube. The TikTokers, then they go to YouTube, and then they all end up developing on YouTube. So it's like all these other apps could come and go, and yes, we should take advantage of them, but they end up always coming back to YouTube. And then another thing, like we were talking about earlier, Facebook, they may not be the first to do it, but then they integrate everything that worked with every other app, which causes all the other apps to die. And then they bring it into their app. And then now you have Facebook and Instagram, which they own. And they take all the best things from everybody else's apps and continue to put it into theirs. So it's like seeing Instagram leave anytime soon or Facebook leave anytime soon. Like that's not going to happen. And then YouTube, it monetizes the best out of those. So I feel like at the end of the day, if you can build a good, authentic audience on YouTube, that's going to be the best place to go.
Yeah, building an audience on YouTube first and then driving your other social media is easier than building an audience on TikTok and driving them to YouTube. It's very hard to convert people to subscribers. Not that it's easy to. Right now, I would say it's the hardest to get subscribers on YouTube that I've ever seen. But it's harder to try to get your followers to be like, hey, go check out my YouTube video. You know what I mean? So I think DJ hit the nail on the coffin with what he said on that one.
Yeah, I would agree, man. And like I said though, like I think it's good to be a part of as many different platforms as you can, because ultimately that doesn't hurt you. It solidifies your brand if you have one. And so diversification is definitely important.
Yeah.
So speaking of diversification, kind of in like the I guess other side hustles that you guys have, what's been something that I guess you kind of unexpectedly learned through working on YouTube that now applies to other aspects of your guys' businesses?
I think
know oh, go ahead. Yeah.
You want to go?
No, you good, bro. I went last time.
Yeah, I would say for me, I think it's just, being able to talk business. Like before YouTube, I was never, an entrepreneur. I never knew how to talk, numbers with people or anything like that. Like being a YouTuber has realized or made me realize like a lot of not only my worth, but like what the whole community and what creators are worth. So I like, even if I wasn't a YouTuber or if I ever decided to stop making content myself, I would love to manage someone else or help someone else run their channel, because I know how to talk to these companies. I know how to, work on building your following through studying the analytics and whatnot. So I feel like YouTube has taught me how to be a businessman, and not even just from like watching other videos and whatnot, but just like, I don't know, it's hard to describe it, but I feel like that's, I never took business courses. I never had a manager. I've had managers, but I've never had like someone who taught me how to talk to companies and whatnot. So I think that for me, that's what YouTube has really taught me, is just how to talk to companies and build relationships and be consistent with that. So
go ahead, boss man.
Man, so I have a plan, guys. I think Harrison's 5 years old now. I feel like we can move down to your area and you can manage his YouTube career.
Let's do it.
He doesn't like to wear shoes, so.
Hey, I know you got plenty of toys around the house, and that's the real money. The real money is in the toy reviews.
Man.
He actually does have a kid's toy channel. I started.
I've seen it.
Yep.
He has 5,000 subscribers, so I understand the struggle of a newer content creator. It's tough out there, but I actually stopped making videos, and I don't have time right now, which sucks. He's super fun right now, but anyway, I don't know. DJ, go ahead, man. I know you were gonna say something before Qias.
Originally you were talking about translating to other things. You were saying?
Yeah, just some of the stuff, like Qias kind of hit on, those lessons that you learned that you kind of didn't expect from YouTube, right? Like the process that you guys go through behind the scenes. How do you use that? Some of the stuff that you've taken and applied to other aspects of life and other aspects of what you do.
I think for me, definitely understanding more of my worth as myself, because I remember when I first started the channel, I was like, I know these things. I just don't have the following. That's fine, because I can bring what I know to the table and provide my value. And by doing that, I was able to get people to fly me and my crew out to go to events. And I only had 500 subscribers on my channel. That's why I always tell people, like, it don't matter about how many subs you got and all that other stuff. Like, if you know what you're talking about and you sure about it, be confident and understand that somebody's going to rock with you. So for me, just continue to gain more confidence in that aspect, because like we said before, doing everything alone, you kind of like, you're not sure. There's nothing to like compare it to or solidify or let you know that this is legit or whatever. So I think YouTube for me over the past couple of years has definitely helped me just understand my worth and know my authority and my voice when I talk to a brand or something and say, hey, this is what I want. If not, then I don't want to do it. Not compared to like, oh yeah, I'll take everything. I'll get whatever I can get. So that's kind of what's helped me a lot over the past couple of years.
Man, you guys are power players over there. I'm not going to get anything. Brand deals are kind of a blessing. It's kind of a blessing to be part of that. And I'm not one of those people that actively am looking for them. So if somebody reaches out to me and asks me for something, you know, I review whatever their pitch is, and then we negotiate something. But like I said, that, you know, that's something that I didn't learn in school, like to be able to negotiate those type of conversations. And then sometimes I ping some other people like Cousteau or just other people in the industry just to see. I'm gonna have to start hitting Qias up too for some of these things. I'm charging too little. But it's,
and I hit you up, remember?
Yeah, exactly. It's important.
I hit you before.
Exactly. Yeah, it's for sure important to be able to reach out and make sure that you're not asking for too little, or that you're not asking for too much potentially either. Like you want to make sure that you're within some sort of a lane that you know that we're in. But yeah, I mean, it's fun to be able to. I mean, who knew that we'd be in a position 5 years ago, 6 years ago, that we'd be in a position to be able to command money for doing a review of any sort, let alone just get a free pair of sneakers. Like it's just, the whole ride has been super dope. And I don't know, if I ever like didn't have a day job, I'd probably be like super stressed out and not as happy as I am. But I respect the people that do it full time, because it's not a joke. Like it's a lot of work to be able to understand the space that you're in, to have that future growth. And, you know, like kudos to everybody else out there that does it full time, because it's not an easy journey.
Yeah, 100% agree. So we're about to wrap up, but I have a couple questions for you guys. The first one is, the reason why I'm asking this is because all of you have multiple channels, you know, multiple channels, right? Like different things that you're interested in, different things you just want to try. For like the you know, the kid that's just starting out, that's getting into this, how important is that in terms of separating your content and having a channel that's focused? You know, Hez talked a little bit about it with his channel, but you know, like there's a lot of variables that can be kind of thrown in there, because there's a lot of things that do connect, right? We all have, you know, streetwear, we all have, you know, hip hop, basketball, video games, like, you know, there's a lot of things that we all share a connected passion. But how do you decide this is worth having another channel for, versus I just want to see how my main channel handles this content?
Mm-hmm. Who wants to go? Rock, paper, scissors.
I'll go first, I guess. Yeah, I like to, when I want to test something out, I like to test it out on one of the channels I already have. Like for the whole sneaker thing for me. So originally I started doing something called monthly pickups on my Crew TV channel. So I was doing daily vlogs, but I wasn't really showing sneakers. So I was like, let me try this monthly pickup. So at the end of every month, I would show everything I got, from clothing to sneakers. And that's when I really saw that those videos were doing well compared to my regular vlogs. So I think it was like 5 or 6 months after I started doing that, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna launch the HesKicks channel. So for me, that's how I basically played with it a little bit. These days, I haven't really thought about making a whole new channel. Like I mentioned earlier, the reactions, I decided to just use a channel that I had, which was HesKicks, because I wasn't really active on that one, and it did good. And it's great. Like I said, I didn't use that channel for 2 years. So these days, it doesn't need to be, I feel like it doesn't need to be a brand new channel. YouTube is all about like just putting out your content. If it has the right amount of views and thumbs up and comments, it's like, that's what gets, you know, suggested on people's accounts and whatnot. So it's not about just creating a new channel. But if you do want to make a whole new channel for a certain type of content, then I would say it's smart. For example, I haven't even talked about this, but I've made I guess, family channel for me and my wife, Mina. Obviously, we don't have a kid yet, but I made the channel for when we want to start using the channel. Maybe it will be before we have a kid. Maybe it will be tomorrow. I don't know, but I made it just to have it, because when the time comes, on the content on there, I don't want it to do anything with sneakers. So I want that to be more family oriented and whatnot. So I think it depends what you want to separate, but definitely toy with what you have already on the channels you have already. Yeah,
I would agree with that 100%. Like I said, I started with video games, Call of Duty. Like I have 2 gaming channels that have like 70,000 subscribers on them that I literally don't post any content to anymore. Thought about repurposing them for something else, Legos for one, which I'm super into as well. I wanted to do a Lego channel, but again, time short, so I've done 1 video on that and gave up. So what I would agree with Qias. So dabble with what you can. When I started my video game channel, I just randomly posted a sneaker video on that channel, and then got so many people that play Call of Duty that were like, no way, you're into sneakers, you have that's your sneaker collection, you got to start your own channel. And then by the time I started my own channel on that, I had 1,000 subscribers before I even started any content, because they all came over from my video game channel. And then at that point, it obviously turned into this that we have here. I would say the one advice that I'd give to you guys though is, if you do have an idea, like, first of all, you need to know what your goal is, right? If your goal is to just be a YouTuber, then you need to make sure that you have a formulated approach. My approach, I'm a hot mess. Like, I post Instagram stories on sneaker deals and my kids. I don't have any format. I need to just personally just have a personal account for my kids and stuff, and then one strictly for business, strictly for sneaker deals. And I need to take my own advice and start doing that. But that's what I would recommend is making sure that you have a focused intent for your YouTube videos. After you dabble a little bit, create that second channel like Qias did, or like what I've done for the sneaker channel, and then drive that content specifically the way that you want. Because as I mentioned, it's a killer in the YouTube algorithm. If you don't create something, somebody does catch a wave and they do watch one of your videos, they're never going to see another one of your videos if it's not something that's somewhat the same interest of something that they already watched of yours. So try to make sure that you can create something that can set you apart from other people, but also within some sort of a format.
So for me, yeah, a lot of people know I'm really passionate about sneakers, but I'm more passionate about real estate than I am sneakers, but I just know sneakers works better right now. So I got to continue to run with that. So I try to integrate real estate stuff within the channel, the DNA show, and then didn't really work out too well. The people that did watch it got a lot of value from it, but I knew that it just needed its own channel. Like real estate, sneakers, you never see that on the same channel. It's always 2 things. So I was talking to somebody and they told me double down, try to get to 100K subs on your main channel and then focus on something else. That way you can create some established audience and stuff like that. So once I was able to do that, that kind of allowed me to say, okay, I'm ready to start doing stuff on real estate. And then as you know, got the foreclosure property about 6 months ago. And I'm like, this is a great opportunity for content because I can literally show day in the life stuff, before and afters, progress, first day walkthrough, final review, all that stuff. So it was kind of all aligned, but I would tell a lot of people to definitely find the 2 different lanes. But if you got something that's working, don't run away from it because it's working. And if you love it, don't run away from it, but still try that other thing. I feel like a lot of us kind of got that 80-20 rule. We're going to take 80% of what we love. We're going to make that work on the channel, or 80% of what's working. And we're going to run that. And then we still got to dabble in that 20% of trying new things and going off a different direction and seeing how it goes. So I think that's something important.
Yeah, I think that's all great advice. So I talked to a bunch of the old heads, right? I was able to get Alex Retro Kid from Soul Collector back in the day, and Russ Bankston and some of these guys. Russ made a comment that I think he and I maybe talked about it, but I want to throw it towards you guys and see what you guys think. I think the people that watch sneaker content or whatever, video, photo, read, whatever, think that once you get a free pair of shoes, you get all free pairs of shoes, or once you get a free pair of shoes, you stop buying shoes because you think you get everything for free. So Russ's theory is that he actually buys way less shoes. He actually buys way more shoes when he gets a free pair of shoes. So you guys agree? You guys think you buy more when you get sent a free pair?
I never thought about that.
That's funny because I had got a free pair of shoes the other day and I was like, I'm definitely cashing out on something today because I was willing to pay for it. But because I got it for free, I was like, I'm bowling out this weekend.
That's hilarious.
I think with the thing that happens for me is I'll get a pair of shoes from somebody and then my girl will be like, oh, I want those. And I'm like, damn it, but
She got that money size too.
exactly. No, but I don't know if like, here's the thing. Puma shows me a lot of love. Puma gives me a lot of free shoes, and they also give me a lot of brand deals. I genuinely like their products, and people don't believe me. I literally go on Puma's website to look at their new products, just like I do Nike, just like I do Adidas. Like, I like their RS line. Like, I would buy their shoes if they did not send it to me, but they do send it to me. And if there ever is a shoe, like, obviously, like, I'll go buy it. So I don't know if I buy more, but like, when they send me stuff, it makes me curious of the other colorways. And if there is really a colorway I like, I'll go buy it. You know what I mean? But I don't like DJ said, if I get a shoe that I wanted, I don't say like, all right, I'm gonna go buy this instead now, because I don't think I've ever done that. Maybe I have and I don't realize it, but I don't think I buy more shoes because I get stuff for free. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky world.
I buy shoes no matter what.
Right.
Yeah, HesKicks has every single Boost model that's ever came out, I think.
Bro.
I do love my Adidas Boost still.
Every week I see another video about Boost this, Boost.
I'll be enough to do that's something that actually does well on my channel too. And
Yeah,
I was about to say that should be popping.
Yeah,
I love that. But I mean, I buy a lot of sneakers in general. Unfortunately, I haven't been to the Adidas employee store or the Nike employee store in a while since we've been kind of cooped up. Otherwise, I don't even know. I just, yeah.
You saved a lot of money, huh?
They've been having troubles at the employee stores with restocking product anyways. Like during COVID, they had like 6 or 8 month period where they had the same product from before the shutdown. So you ain't missing nothing, bro.
Yeah, actually, I went once like a couple months ago, and I was like, first time ever I left empty-handed. I was looking in between shelves to try to find something to buy. Couldn't find nothing. It was terrible. But yeah, that's funny. I love Russ and Retro Kid, so that's cool. I gotta watch that episode.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting conversation because there's just so many different aspects, you know, and Russ is like, I love him to death, and he and I have a great relationship, but sometimes he's so hardcore, old man yells at the cloud kind of, you know, get off my lawn attitude. And we had a lot of that too, so it was a fun conversation. But that question's been in my head for the past like 2-3 days now, because you know, I don't even, you know, to like Qias's point, I don't even really think about it like that normally. But I do think that like, it's kind of interesting because, you know, like we become fans of little pieces of each of the shoes, right? Where it's like, you know, the RS line is a good example. The Boost stuff is a good example, right? Like once you find something in one of those lanes that you're not expecting to be, you know, playing in, it becomes something that you become interested in. So I just thought that was a cool question. But anyway, fellas, it's been awesome to chop it up with you. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to do this. Honestly, I hope we could do this in person someday in the future when, you know, shit is safe for all of us to get out there and be catching up again in person. So thank you again for taking the time to chat with me. And I just appreciate you guys and enjoy the content, and looking forward to more. Looking forward to that Lego / family / you know, home building / what was the hydro dipped a barbecue video all in one here.
We gotta do like a huge collab one of these days with all that stuff.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. But all right, guys. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.
See you guys.
All right, y'all. Thanks for having us.
Peace out.